I get it, you're staring at that headline spec sheet and wondering if you're about to drop a serious chunk of cash on a CPU and motherboard combo that will just end up gathering dust. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through forums, hunting for that one honest voice that can tell you whether the Ryzen 9950X paired with the ROG Crosshair X870E actually lives up to the hype, or if it's just another overpriced piece of silicon. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into the real-world experience, because no one wants to buy the wrong thing and regret it later. First off, this isn't a budget-oriented build. We're talking about a 16-core, 32-thread beast built on AMD's new Zen 5 architecture, coupled with a high-end X870E motherboard that supports DDR55600, PCIe 5.0, and a slew of overclocking tools. That alone sounds impressive, but the question is, does it actually translate into everyday value for you? The answer hinges on what you intend to do with the machine. If you're a creator who spends hours rendering 4K video, running complex simulations, or juggling multiple VMs for development, the 5.7 GHz boost clock and 80 MB of cache can shave minutes off render times that would otherwise feel endless. I've spoken to a few indie game developers who said moving from a 12-core setup to this 16-core configuration cut their build times roughly in half, especially when they enabled the AI-accelerated encoders that AMD tout for advanced AI PCs. In those scenarios, the raw horsepower isn't just a brag right, it's a tangible productivity gain. On the gaming side, the claim of ultra-fast 100+ FPS holds water in a very specific context. Pair this combo with a flagship RTX 4090 or the newest Radeon 7900 XTX, and you'll be cruising past 100 FPS in most modern titles at 1440p, sometimes even 4K, provided you're not maxing out ultra-high settings in the most demanding titles. The motherboard's intelligent control suite lets you fine-tune power delivery, which can keep those high frame rates stable during long sessions. For competitive gamers who care about consistency more than pure peak numbers, the extra headroom can be the difference between a smooth run and a stutter that costs you a match. But there's a practical side that often gets lost in the hype. The platform demands DDR55600 memory, a high-end PSU, and a cooling solution that can handle the heat generated when you push that 5.7 GHz boost for any length of time. If you're someone who's comfortable tweaking BIOS settings, monitoring temperatures, and maybe even bumping the voltage a notch, you'll likely enjoy the overclocking playground this board provides. However, if you're more of a plug-and-play user who just wants the system to work out of the box without spending evenings tweaking curves, you might find the learning curve a bit steep. One real-world downside that's worth mentioning is the power draw. Even at idle, the combination sips more juice than a typical 8-core desktop, and under load you're looking at upwards of 300 W from the CPU alone. For people who run on a tight electricity budget, or who live in regions where power costs are high, that can add up quickly. Also, the heat output means you'll need a robust cooling solution, either a high-end air cooler with a massive heatsink or an AIO liquid loop. Skipping on the cooler to save money will result in throttling, which brings the whole ultra-fast claim down the road. Now, let's talk about who should actually consider this duo. If you're a professional video editor, 3D artist, or a data scientist who runs intensive workloads daily, the productivity boost can justify the premium. The AI-ready features are also a forward-thinking addition if you intend to experiment with machine learning models locally. On the gaming front, serious enthusiast gamers who want a future-proof platform that can handle next-gen titles at high resolutions will appreciate the combination. And if you're building a workstation that doubles as a gaming rig, the balance of cores for multitasking and the high frame rate support makes sense. Conversely, if your workflow is mostly web browsing, office apps, and occasional 1080p gaming, you're paying for speed you'll never need. A mid-range Ryzen 7 paired with a more modest B650 board would cover those bases with a lot more headroom in your budget. Also, if you're not comfortable with the intricacies of overclocking or managing a high-end cooling loop, the value diminishes quickly. The investment in DDR5 memory alone can push the total cost well beyond $2,000, and for many hobbyists that's overkill. A practical strength of the Crosshair X870E is its firmware that pushes updates more regularly than many competing boards. Users have reported that a BIOS update a few months after launch added better memory compatibility and refined the AI assist tools. That kind of ongoing support can prolong the lifespan of the platform, meaning you won't feel stuck with an outdated board after a year or two. The motherboard's built-in Wi-Fi 6E and 10 gigabits Ethernet give you the networking headroom for massive file transfers, which is a nice touch when you're moving video assets across a local network. On the flip side,